What if I told you that China is facing a real estate crisis 100 times worse than what Americans saw in 2008? In this video, I'm breaking down China's $13 trillion housing disaster and what it means for global markets, including property values right here in America. After watching this, you'll understand why China's rotten tail buildings matter to investors everywhere and how to protect your own real estate investments from similar risks. My name is Bashoy Habib, and I'm the realest real estate attorney you know. Over the past 13 years, I've closed over 1,000 transactions totaling $12 billion. In my career, I've seen many property bubbles, but nothing compares to what's happening right now in China. It's a textbook example of what happens when basic real estate principles and proper oversight are ignored. In China, owning a home isn't just about having a place to live, it's everything. It's how families plan for retirement, it's how parents secure their children's future, and how many young men prove they're ready for marriage. In fact, in many parts of China, not having a house means you're not seen as settled enough to even start a family. This cultural importance pushed millions of families to pour their entire life savings into property. Many bought homes they didn't even plan to live in, just to preserve wealth and show security. Think about that. Imagine if your entire extended family pooled their savings to buy you a condo as a wedding gift, except that condo doesn't even have walls or running water yet. For decades, the Chinese economy ran on a simple promise. Stay silent politically and you'll be rewarded with endless jobs, affordable homes, in a future where everyone can get rich. And for a while, it worked. The economy exploded, cities grew bigger, and millions moved out of poverty. But here's where things went wrong. Real estate became the foundation of modern Chinese dreams, and prices kept rising. The government encouraged developers to take massive loans to keep building. Local officials sold land to raise money, and people kept buying because they believed real estate would always go up in value. Sound familiar? So let me walk you through a real-life example of how this worked. Imagine you're a developer like Evergrande in China. Here's what you would do. You'd lease a piece of land from the local government. You'd pre-sell apartments before even breaking ground. You'd collect full payment up front from buyers. Instead of using that money to buy the promised homes, you'd use it as a down payment to buy more land. Then you'd sell more future apartments and repeat the cycle. Guys, this is a textbook Ponzi scheme. In America, we have strict laws against this kind of stuff. When you buy a pre-construction home in the US, your money goes into escrow accounts monitored by third parties. A developer here in America can't just take your money and go shopping for more land. Today, more than 60 million homes across China are sitting empty. That's over 4.3 billion square feet of completed but unsold housing, enough to cover Manhattan 6 times over. And that doesn't even include the half-finished properties or the construction sites that were abandoned halfway through when they ran out of money. According to Goldman Sachs, the total value of stalled or unfinished housing projects in China is around $13 trillion, with a T. To put that in perspective, that's 8 times what all Chinese home buyers spent in the last year total. While these homes sit empty or unfinished, the value of ones already sold is collapsing. In October 2024 alone, new home prices in China dropped by 6%, marking the 16th consecutive month of declining prices. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds a lot like the 2008 housing crisis in America. And you'd be right, there are similarities. Prices kept rising and everyone believed they'd never go down. Developers sold entire complexes before pouring foundations. People bought multiple properties just to ride the boom. But here's the critical difference. In America, we have a diversified economy. People have stocks, retirement accounts, small businesses. In China, it's different. Many people don't trust the stock market. One data set shows that nearly 70% of household wealth in China is tied directly to real estate. Not stocks, not businesses, not savings accounts, just property. That means Chinese families are not just exposed to the crash, they're trapped in it. No safety plan, no plan B. Last year, all the homebuyers from a project in central China published a letter saying they would stop paying their mortgage completely to the bank until construction on their project restarted. That's pretty much unprecedented in China, where people aren't really allowed to rise up like that. By that same evening, homebuyers from another project had announced the same mortgage boycott, and the movement began spreading across the nation. Within 1 week, 100 projects had joined the boycott. And at the time of this recording, over 300 projects across China are boycotting mortgage mortgage payments until construction resumes. Imagine buying a home, making mortgage payments for years, but never getting to move in because the builder went bankrupt and the property never completed. That's the reality for thousands of Chinese families right now, and they have nowhere else to turn. One of the biggest differences between 2008 and the current situation in China is that the majority of these loans are collateralized by houses that aren't even built yet. So banks can't just repossess the house when someone defaults and cut their losses like they did in 2008. Banks are being forced to eat these losses. And if the defaults keep growing, there's a chance that big banks might fold. One of the big four banks in China has already limited people's withdrawals. And when banks start limiting withdrawals, it's never a good sign. It means they're struggling to meet their obligations and might be on the verge of a collapse. Now, why would you care about all this if you're not in China? Because in our interconnected global economy, a crisis this size will send shockwaves worldwide. When the second largest economy in the world faces a crisis 100 times worse than 2008, everyone feels the effects. I mean, look what's happening with the tariffs between us and China, right? I mean, not related to this directly, but look how that impacted broad markets. The entire world was shaking. All the markets across the world were shaking because of tariffs between us and China. That just shows you how interconnected everything is. We've already seen Chinese investors pulling back from international real estate markets, including here in the US. This could lead to price corrections in cities where Chinese investments have been significant, like Vancouver, Sydney, and parts of California and New York. For American real estate investors, this could mean both challenges and opportunities. Property values might dip in certain markets, but for those with cash on hand, it could create buying opportunities. And right now, as of mid-2025 when I record this, there are a ton of buying opportunities here in the United States of America, and especially here in Florida where I'm based. The Chinese real estate crisis reminds us of some fundamental principles. Real estate is not always a guaranteed investment. Proper oversight and regulation matter, and diversification is a key to protecting your wealth. If you're investing in real estate, make sure you're working with experienced professionals who understand both the local and global factors affecting property values. And remember, when something seems too good to be true, it usually is. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more real estate insights. And drop a comment below if you have any questions about the real estate market or trends in your local market. I like to read every comment and I respond to as many as I can. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.